Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and in today's video we're going to be doing a mystical Halloween set of nails. So I really hope you all enjoy watching. Now I'm working on my practice hand today and I have already applied my tips and a thin layer of base coat and I've popped that in to cure. So here is the base coat that I used. It's just the classic Kiki London base coat. If I was working on myself or a client, I usually opt for the rubber base. Now let's take a look at the products I'm going to start off with in today's video. So I'm going to be using a coconut and tea rose for my bases in today's set. Now talking of products, I have some really exciting news to share with you. On Monday morning, we have a brand new launch at Kiki London. So do keep an eye out on the website and I will also have a video, of course, showing you what the new launch is. So like I said, do keep your eyes peeled for that. It's a really exciting one and I can't wait to share it with you all. So jumping back to today's design, I've applied a thin coat of tea rose to the pointer finger and then I'm going to be applying a coconut on the middle and ring finger. Now coconut is very highly pigmented, so as you can see I'm trying to keep the first coat nice and thin. When you're working with a really highly pigmented colour, you want to make sure you keep your application nice and thin. To be quite honest, when I'm doing my first coat of colour, no matter what colour I'm doing, I like to keep that first coat as thin as possible. I just like to get a nice thin first coat of colour down and then I apply the second coat ever so slightly thicker. Now this is a personal preference. You will find that lots of nail techs apply their gel polish slightly differently, so always do what works for you. But if you are having any problems applying your gel polish, I would recommend giving it this way a go. Now when I'm applying that first coat of colour, you can see I always press my brush down ever so slightly back from the cuticle and then I just wriggle it up towards that cuticle area. I find that this way I release some of the product from my brush and it gives me more control over the product that's going around that cuticle area and it just really helps get a nice neat cuticle line. So I've popped the first coat of colour in to cure for 30 seconds and then on the second coat over the whites, instead of doing a second coat of coconut, I'm going to be using the gorgeous Moonlight Pearl. So this is a really soft white shimmery gel polish that gives off a beautiful pearlescent finish. I absolutely love applying this one over either coconut or French white because it gives off a beautiful effect. And in this particular set as well, I'm going to be matte top coating these two nails and it looks absolutely beautiful matte as well. Now, like I said, when I'm applying that second coat of colour, I apply it ever so slightly thicker and I kind of just like to float the colour on. So I'll apply it the same when we're coming to the cuticle application, so slightly further back and then wriggling and nudging up towards the cuticle and then I just float the colour over the top. I always like to go over my colour a couple of times to make sure I've got a really nice even application. You don't want to be applying your gel polish too thickly because it can look a little bit lumpy on the nail that way. You want to make sure that each layer is nice and thin but also really even as well, as with gel polish it is really noticeable if you have an uneven or a bumpy application. So just bear those things in mind. I've always found with gel polish, thinner is better. Even if you end up having to do 3 thin coats, that is always better than 1 or 2 thick coats. But I do find with 99% of my Kiki London gel polish colours, I do only need 2 thin coats of colour. So as you can see here, how gorgeous do these two colours look. They are so pretty. Now for this set of nails, I'm going to be using the Mystical Black Mix water decals. Now ever since I see these in the last water decal launch, I've been really wanting to do a set with them because I just love the whole witchy mystical vibe that they have about them. So I've picked out 2 water decals and I've cut them out as close to the image as possible. And then I'm going to be applying these using a jelly stamper, but I just wanted to show you guys it's always a good idea to clean your jelly stamper before you use it to apply your water decals. So I'm just running over the stamper with a lint roller. This is just going to remove any tiny bits of fluff or anything that you've got stuck on the head of your stamper that you don't want to end up on your nail. When you're pressing that jelly stamper down on top of the tacky gel polish, anything that's on that stamper head is going to transfer onto the nail. So just giving it a quick run over with a lint roller, just removes any of those pieces. Then as you see there, I've placed down my water decal, I've applied some water to it using the angled nail art brush, slid off the backing paper after around 10-15 seconds, and then we're able to press that image directly down onto the nail. So let's do that one more time. So I've popped my image down, soaked my angled nail art brush into some room temperature water, then I'm just brushing over the back of that water decal. And then I'm waiting around 10-15 seconds. The video is slightly sped up, so it does look as though it's a little bit quicker than what I have waited. And then that backing paper will easily slide off the water decal. And then you're able to press that water decal down onto your tacky layer of gel polish. So the gel polish has been cured, but cured gel polish leaves a tacky inhibition layer, and that really helps when you're applying the water decals using the jelly stamper method. So now that we have those two water decals applied, I'm going to move on to the pointer finger. I do jump back and do a little bit more to the ring finger, but that's further along in the video. So on the pointer finger, I want to do a marbled tip. So I've taken Kiki London's Black Heart, coconut, and I'm going to add in a little bit of Moonlight Pearl as well. So as you can see, I'm just layering them down on my palette. You want to be really careful that you don't contaminate each gel polish bottle brush when you're doing this, so be really careful when you are doing that. And then I'm going to take the classic Kiki London base coat. So this is their regular base coat, and I'm just going to apply a thin layer of this to the pointer finger, and I'm going to use it the same way you would a blooming gel. So I'm not curing that base coat yet, I'm just leaving it uncured on the nail. Then I'm going to take an old nail art dotting tool and just marble those three gel polish colours together on my palette. And as you can see, it creates a really cool marble effect. And then using the Kiki London round brush, I'm going to swipe into that marble and just pick up the gel polish colours and transfer them on to the tip of the nail. Now, because we're placing that marbled gel polish down into the wet base coat, it's going to really help the colours marble together, but it's going to really also help blend the gel polish marble into your base colour, rather than it looking like a harsh line between the tea rose and the marble. So what I'm going to do to begin with is I'm just making sure that the tip is fully covered by gently pulling that marble where I want it to go. And then as you can see here, it's starting to fade out into the wet base coat, and I'm just helping that along using the very tip of my brush. So I'm very carefully swirling the edge of the marble into that wet base coat. This just gives off that softer look, and it creates a bit of a smoky look as well. Then I'm going to pop that in to cure for 60 seconds. I'm curing for 60 seconds because the gel polish marble is a little bit thicker than when you apply a regular layer of gel polish. So just giving it that 60-second cure is going to make sure that it has fully cured. Then we're going to be applying some foils. So here I have the multi-coloured flame set of foils, and I'm going to be using the black ones. And what I love about these is you get a selection of different flames, and you've also got some stars and other images in there as well. Now what I've done is I only want to add one flame onto the little finger. So I've cut out the flame that I want to use, and I've tried to leave as much excess paper as I can so that I've got something to hold on to. Then I'm going to be using my Kiki London foil gel. This is the absolute best foil gel that I have ever used. I never have any problems applying my foils since using this foil gel. So it's a very, very impressive product. So what I'm going to do is apply a thin layer of this to the entire nail, making sure that it's a nice even layer. You don't want any thickness or bumpiness in that layer. Then I'm popping that in to cure for 30 seconds, and then I like to apply my foil as soon as that foil gel comes out of the lamp, so it's whilst it's still warm basically. Then what I'm doing is I'm taking my flame foil and I'm going to press that directly down onto the foil gel. And then I'm going to take my Kiki London Silicone Tool and start burnishing that in. So giving it a good rub, making sure I get out any creases, making sure that the whole image is making good contact with the foil gel. And then I'm going to take a corner of the paper and just gently peel that back, checking that the image has fully transferred. I like to slowly peel the film back so that if any hasn't transferred, you're able to lay it back down and just rub it a little bit further. But as you can see, that foil transferred absolutely perfectly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and top coat. So I'm going to be top coating the middle and ring finger using the No Wipe matte top coat. So I'm just going to apply a thin layer of this to the entire nail. So I like to make sure I'm really working the matte top coat around the water decals. Usually I like to encapsulate my decals with the No Wipe rubber top coat, but because I wanted the matte effect, that's why I've gone for the matte top coat in today's video. I can't get my words out. So what I'm doing is making sure that that top coat gets all around that water decal, because then it's going to fully seal it in. So I like to just go over it a few times just so that I know I've fully coated the entire nail, and I'm just wiping off any excess on the tips there just so we don't lose the shape of the nails. Then I've popped that in to cure for 30 seconds, and how gorgeous do these two nails look matte. It's a little bit hard to see the full effect of the Moonlight Pearl with the matte top coat in the video, but it gives off a really beautiful pearl finish. Now on the ring finger, I wanted to add in a couple of crystals. So I'm taking the Kiki London No Wipe rubber top coat, and I'm going to be applying my crystals using the new Kiki London dotting gem tool. This has been out a little while now, but I haven't got lots of use out of it as I haven't been using crystals as much lately. So I decided to add a few in to today's set. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking my Kiki London stripe liner brush and I'm just applying that rubber top coat to wherever I want my crystals to go. So I wanted my crystals to go in a swoosh across this nail and making sure that they're going to touch the bottom part of that water decal. So I've applied that No Wipe rubber top coat, I'm leaving that uncured, and then I'm picking up my crystals and just popping them down where I've applied that No Wipe rubber top coat. So I'm picking them up using the waxy silicone end of the tool, and then I'm also at times using the metal dotting tool end here just to move those crystals around into place. Now I love using the No Wipe rubber top coat for applying my crystals because it's a lot easier than using a nail glue. When you use a nail glue to apply your crystals, it starts drying really quickly, so if you make any mistakes with where you place your crystals, it's really hard to move them. But with the No Wipe rubber top coat, you're able to move those crystals around as much as you like until you pop them into cure. So once I was happy with the placement, I popped them in my LED lamp to cure for 60 seconds, and this is the finished result. If I was working on a client or myself and applying the crystals, I probably would have gone around them with a little bit more of the matte top coat. So after curing the rubber top coat, I would have popped some of the matte top coat on my stripe liner brush and just gone around the edges of those crystals just to seal them fully in. Now on the pointer and little finger, I'm coming in with the rubber top coat. So I'm just applying a thin layer of this to the entire nail. Now, because the rubber top coat is slightly thicker, I really like to work it into the nail just to get a nice smooth layer, but it does self-level beautifully. And I do love a rubber top coat, to be honest. It is my favourite out of all of the Kiki top coats. So I've then popped that in to cure for 60 seconds, and this is the finished result. So they were a really super easy, salon friendly design, but I really hope you all enjoyed watching. If you did, then please do give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do hit that subscription button and check back on a Monday morning to see the video for our exciting new launch. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're all doing okay. Take care. Lots of love. Bye bye.